Hey people, we're back for another video about our favorite man Herman Smith. What crime did he commit this time? Existing, as always. But out of all seriousness, he's just made another shit video complaining about something that I don't think anyone really cares about. Either or, I don't know why he even makes these videos. Can't he just enjoy his Nintendo and, I don't know, do whatever schizophrenic shit he does? Anyway, let's get into the video.
Hello everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful Rabbit Hole lore and frame the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon.
Shit, another round of confession already? Well, what can I confess now? I downloaded a cracked build of Gears of War 3 and now I'm making mods for it. Nothing really to confess here. I could have done way worse things about especially my behavior in For Honor. That would be fun. That would get me instantly banned off of YouTube. Anyway, let's get off my schizophrenic ramblings and back to the big boy with schizophrenia.
So, there's actually been quite a bit of discussion over the past year that PS5 sales have spiked in Japan, and they are overtaking the Switch, and the console is much more popular than it ever has been before, and the Switch is about to be replaced. It can't compete with the PS5.
Well, no shit, the Nintendo Switch can't compete. They both fill different roles, Harmon. The Nintendo Switch you can go outside with and club someone over the head with the off chance it may break. A PlayStation, a glorified router. If the Nintendo Switch could actually compete in the sense of graphics, I think it would win a lot more people, but it's not impressing anyone because it's such a limiting system. Yes, I know graphics mean nothing. I play games like old school RuneScape.
That was the narrative being pushed on us for the past couple of months, and I looked into it. Like, I was mostly focused on like the Switch angle of things.
Well, no shit, you're a Nintendo fanboy.
I was talking about how there haven't been any major releases on Switch in a while, how there's like...
Maybe that's the reason why it's getting outperformed. Put two and two together, yes? If there were new releases, it would give them an incentive to buy it.
All these things that people weren't taking into account. Like, the Switch is still doing very well for itself, essentially. And the thing is...
I wouldn't be surprised if the Switch was doing well. It fills a certain niche that a console can't. For example, portable.
I genuinely believe that PS5 to some extent was like doing well in Japan. I thought it was finally getting some traction. It had some like big games that I thought might have like spurred on some sales in the past couple of years. I thought that like we had reached the point where PS5 was becoming relevant.
You know, PS5 is probably the most relevant console right now, at least from the fanboy's point of view. Keep this in mind, I'm an Xbox fanboy, and I'm saying that PlayStation is better. Also, I would expect it to be doing well. Japan is probably their home turf. Sony is from my knowledge, a majority in Japan.
And it was like becoming like, starting to like compete with the Switch. Like, it actually got a
Harmon, it was already competing.
little bit of momentum. And it wasn't going to last or anything like that. I made that very clear. But my view was that, like, yeah, we are in this phase where we can expect, like, PS5 to get major releases in the next...
Ever heard of Spider-Man 2? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I'm not really interested in it because it's a movie game. I don't like watching a cutscene when I could watch a movie.
Couple of years. Now, though, now that I've looked into it a bit more, or specifically, I have looked into, like, the media crate situation more, and, like, where these sales from Japan are actually coming from, I honestly feel like I really should have pressed square to doubt, like X to doubt a lot more, right? This is an example of just how weird the propaganda for Sony can get.
May I please have a slice of this propaganda? I would like some. I would like to use it against you.
Some regards, because the gaming establishment really, really wants Nintendo to fail and Sony to succeed.
Harmon, I don't think any of them really care. They're a company. They need to succeed if they want to stay afloat. And yes, their competitors want to see them fail. It's how competition works. If you want, I can give you a lesson.
But gamers, people who are actually like following along with this and actually paying attention to this, they seem to have a tendency to like kind of look into like some weird situations and come to some startling revelations.
That long pause really doesn't help your argument. Also, what revelations? I've already forgotten what we're even on about. That's how fucking mind-numbing this shit is.
In this case, where exactly are these PS5s going? Like, why exactly are sales of PS5 spiking in Japan? What exactly is causing this?
People buying them because they want one, or people scalping and selling them? Simple.
And It's not gameplay releases. It's not new hardware revisions. It's not bundles. It's
To my knowledge, they're selling a PS5, a digital version, with Horizon Forgotten West. That is an incentive.
it's none of that. Like what is driving PS5 sales in Japan are people scalping the consoles and selling them in China.
How the fuck did you come up with this? You know, China and Japan are on very bad terms, right? Ever since World War II. They have never really liked each other. And if I'm correct, to my knowledge, I hope I'm correct on this, they don't have consoles in China. The reason why I say that is because they seem to be pretty hard to regulate. Yes, you can remove certain games from them, especially sexualized, violence, or just stupid shit like that, unfinished. We saw many cases of games like Cyberpunk and many other things. I could be completely wrong of them not having consoles in their country, but I don't think the average Chinese person could even afford something like that. Their average wage is probably stupidly shit. They're probably more worried about putting food on the table for them and their family, or even just getting food for themselves. So why would they care for entertainment?
Right? The PS5 version, the Chinese version of the PS5 is heavily regulated in China. I believe like the Chinese have like some censorship policies in place.
Okay, you are correct, they do have it. And yes, they are most certainly heavily censored. I don't know why you're acting like it could be. And yes, I will take my L for not knowing that China has their own version of it. I never thought they would be too much of a hassle.
It's region locked in some ways. Not every game is available for it. So there's actually a very, very big demand in China for the PS5. And so what's happening is that Japanese scalpers are buying PS5s en masse and they're shipping them off to China.
That is the most schizophrenic thing I have ever heard you say. No shot would Japanese people go out of their way to sell that to Chinese people. We've been over this already. They don't like each other. Yes, there are some people that may do it, but the hassle of sneaking that into a country that has no desire for it? Yeah, no.
China, like through as independent sellers essentially, and making a tidy profit. The Chinese get their like region-free PS5 console with everything they would ever want, and the Japanese make some money off of that. And Sony, the media create sales, get an inflated sense of how popular the PS.
Do you forget that pretty much every Chinese person is heavily monitored? They wouldn't get a chance to let alone play it. They would be sent to a re-education camp for being possibly, as they would probably word it, infected with Western ideology. No, they would not have it. It would be a risk to them and their family. And like I said, they don't have the money for it. Herman, you literally give me a boner every time I have to fucking listen to you say stupid shit. Yeah, you heard me right, that's my turn on. Say stupid shit again, retard.
PS5 and it is in Japan. Remember, like we're not talking about like the Chinese sales here. We're talking about the Japanese sales charts, like the media create platform. We're talking about like comparing Japanese console sales to like the Chinese ones. So the fact is that that figure we're seeing of like the PS5 selling a metric considerably more than they ever
Have you ever considered Japanese people want to buy it? Well then, you can consider my case well rested.
have in Japan. It's taken out of context. It's not giving you the whole story. PS
I know I'm gonna say this again, Herman, and just everyone that's watching. You know people just want to buy a fucking console, right? That actually has shit on it, and actually offers shit that they can play and enjoy. To my knowledge, Nintendo hasn't offered anything like that for about a year. I'm not really sure, I don't follow the fucking thing. If there's Pokemon games or anything to go off of, no one likes them.
5 is simply a console that is heavily desired by Chinese consumers, but isn't really readily available in their
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
Please, just shut the fuck up. I'm sick of hearing it.
their country. They have to like go through this process of having the PS5 shipped to them by independent sellers in Japan who have to like buy them in retail and stuff like that. It is and of course China is a much bigger country than Japan. So you have like all these places that the PS5 can go. It's like they're essentially spread out over this like
Please, we've been over this enough. You're just repeating the same continuous shit.
giant country, one of the big global superpowers right now. So what we're seeing is what we're seeing is an interesting situation, right? We have these scalpers, we have this situation of this PS5 like on paper selling more than the Switch in Japan at the moment, but the reality is quite different. Like the PS5 isn't being sold, it's being it's being scalped.
You need to stop coping.
It's being sold off like somewhere else at a lower price than with more features than what they can expect in their home country. It's kind of like how I believe it's Brazil has a bunch.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop here, boys. He just continually keeps on going about the same thing for the next 2 minutes. So, do as you will. Leave, like, subscribe, enjoy, goodbye.